Mike Tomlin, Kevin Colbert. I mean, they really brought the heavy hitters down there, and they're guys with a quarterback background, Sullivan in Canada. So is that a coincidence, Bob? What do you think?
No, but I also know that over the years,
weird.
Brandon Hunt's been on those trips before, so is obviously Tomlin and Colbert. If they're bringing those guys along.
These are quarterback people, Bob.
I
Mike Sullivan is a quarterback's coach. He's not an inside linebackers coach.
Okay, but there are other quarterbacks too, and there are also other people they like down there. And if you're Matt Canada, you want to make sure you have some people up front who can move people around either. I don't think it's exclusively for Kenny Pickett. They know a lot about Kenny Pickett.
Well, the other quarterbacks, though.
Well,
the other quarterbacks, Malik Willis, Sam Howell.
I understand. There are a lot of quarterbacks. That says a lot. And they will eventually draft somebody. It's just a question of what they do at number 20. And I think that's going to be the intriguing question. I don't think Kenny Pickett's going to be around. Tampa Bay lost a quarterback today, so they need a quarterback.
But they pick after the Steelers.
Ways. What's that?
They pick behind the Steelers because they went deeper in the playoffs.
They could also trade up ahead of them. There's a lot of ways this can go, but I count on as many as 10 teams who can actually use a quarterback, a good quarterback. So I don't suspect that at 20, Kenny Pickett will be there. Let's go to the line and see what people think. We'll begin with Bill in Pittsburgh on line 2. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Bill.
Hey, guys. Hey, do you guys know anything about the sham interview with Brian Flores and the New York Giants? Can you tell me anything about that? What's going on?
All I saw was that he filed a lawsuit against the NFL, which I found this interesting, Andrew. They quickly kind of refuted by saying it's dismissed without merit, or it comes without merit. And I wondered about myself. I said, how do you come to that conclusion that quickly without reading the entire lawsuit? So I don't know. Well, I know that he threw Bill Belichick's name in there. I know they talked about John Elway. He alleges that he was drunk during an interview. I don't know.
Well, you know, this type of stuff, I don't think it pops up out of nowhere. I think there's rumors, coaches talk, league executives talk, lawyers talk. So I think it's possible that NFL bigwigs kind of got wind of this beforehand. But to your point, they couldn't have known everything that was inside the lawsuit. So I don't know why they wouldn't put out a statement like the Steelers do sometimes. Hey, we're aware of what's out there. We're going to consider it. We take allegations of racism very seriously.
Right. And
we're going to have our lawyers vet this out. That's all you needed to say. I mean, you did not have to do such a hardcore denial of the story right off the bat. I mean, the text messages from Belichick, which make it seem like the Giants hired Brian Dable, or were going to hire him, and Flores was pretty much just an interview to check a box.
Right.
Which is not the real intent of the Rooney Rule.
Right.
It's not there to just say we're going to bring a guy in because the letter of the law. It's to actually consider the person as a legitimate candidate. And I think from that perspective, Flores has an argument with this text that, hey, they didn't bring me there because they actually wanted to hire me. They did it because the league says you have to.
Right, and I think
that's
that happens
not the intent of the Rooney Rule.
That happens more than it should happen, and he has the proof right there with saved text messages. So
a smoking gun.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But, you know, Brian Flores is an excellent coach. I thought he'd get one of those jobs already, and there's still other jobs out there.
Now, what do you do with Stephen Ross? If the accusation is true that he sat Flores down and said, I'll give you an extra $100,000 for every game you lose. I mean, number one, that's bribery. Number two, that goes beyond a contract, which I think is illegal, that it's not in writing. And third, and most importantly, I mean, that just rips to shreds the integrity of the game. I mean, this show is sponsored by the great people at FanDuel. There's a lot of sports betting money out there now. People are putting big chunks of money. The NFL's in bed with these sports books. They should be. Well, you think they like that these games potentially were like predetermined, a team tried to lose?
No, I mean
that should cost an owner his team, Bob.
But the fact that came out, and that's part of this lawsuit, that he was told, hey, you lose, I'll give you $100,000 each. It does. It goes against everything that this game stands for. At least it should. And it also indicates that, while we talk a lot about tanking, the fact that you would actually pay to do it so that you get a high draft pick goes against everything the NFL should stand for. So this is going to be very interesting how it plays out. And you wonder what it does to his coaching future, although I would hire him immediately anyway, because I still think he's a very good coach, and I thought he'd be one of the first to be hired. All right, let's go out to Matt in Butler. Matt, what's up? How you doing?
Hello, Matt.
Guys, how are you?
Good.
Hey, just real briefly, these last 4 games for the Penguins, it's been said many times, they underperformed, should have had multiple wins, and couldn't. This gets back to the same concern they're going to head into the playoffs with, which they've finished the last several years in the playoffs. Hey, you can't go into these lulls over a 4-game stretch and play the way they have. And I don't care how deep they are; they certainly don't look like it now. It looks great while you're in the regular season, and you're winning games in the regular season. It's not going to hold up in the playoffs.
Well, Matt, what I would say to you is this. I thought they played better than Washington tonight. You know, I also think this is a long stretch of games that they had to go through. See that turnover right there, though? That's the kind of stuff that's going to kill them. If they do that, they're going to lose no matter who they play, and they can't do it. And yet, it can be the same usual suspects in Letang and Malkin. You know, the thing is, they were the better team, Andrew. You saw that game. They came on. They had 20-some shots in the second period. I thought great quality chances that were turned aside. So if I saw a flat effort, a really flat effort over a span of 4 games, I'd say something. But I don't think it's been flat. I just think they've lost.
I agree. And let's read absolutely nothing into this game. And here's why. There won't be this many penalties called in a Stanley Cup playoff game because the refs swallow their whistles. And the other thing is, I can guarantee you this. In a playoff game, that goaltender interference call that got overturned, that would never happen in the postseason, Bob. And that's the double standard that exists between regular season play and playoff play. This play right here, if they're going to disallow every single one of these goals, Patrick Hornquist might as well move back to Sweden now.
I agree, and Laviolette had every reason to drop every F-bomb he could there.
Look at Laviolette. What did he say there, Bob? What's the closed captioning saying on that one?
I am not going to reveal. But I agree. I told you in the press box. I said that's a terrible call. And if that were against the Penguins, you'd say so as well. It's a terrible call. It was a goal, a legit goal. The Caps should have won before they got to overtime. And if that's the standard they're going to use to call moving forward, then you're right. Forget about anybody who comes close to that blue paint, especially if you're engaged with another player. So that was not goaltender interference. It was a terrible reversal. And I think the game changed because of it. We're due for a break. We always go long. I wish we had more time, Andrew. You have clout. Why don't you tell everybody we need more time? Do it. We're going to take a break. Come back with more right here on the Sports Call.